Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and appreciate you guys coming by the channel. And guys, today, a little bit of a different video. I want to talk about two different things. I want to talk about how in bass fishing, hard work and just working hard does not necessarily equate into success, and how to deal with the frustration of working your butt off to try to become a better bass fisherman, and it's just not happening. You're just not catching them. It's super frustrating, and this is a conversation well worth having. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on how to deal with that in today's episode. Also, guys, real quick, before we get started, just a big thank you out there to everybody that's been taking advantage of that tackle warehouse sale. If you guys hadn't heard me talking about it, they got like 35% off on the website on a bunch of stuff now. I'll put my tackle warehouse link in the description if you guys would like to use my link there. It's a good way to help the channel out and get some good deals on tackle at the same time. So I really appreciate that. Also, we got also sales on the my silverback sunglasses. Everything's in the link there if you want to check it out. So appreciate that. Okay, one of the most frustrating things that I have ever encountered as a fisherman personally is wanting to do good in bass fishing, wanting to catch fish so bad and not being able to do it. That is just one of the most frustrating things that there is. Now, it all started out for me, it's like, when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I'd watch the fishing shows like Jimmy Houston and Roland Martin and all that. And of course, they were always catching big ones. I mean, every trip they'd catch giants. And after I watched one of the shows, I just couldn't wait to go fishing. And I didn't have a lot of places to fish, and I never caught them. It's like it was so depressing because I wanted to catch fish like they did so bad, and I never could catch hardly nothing where I was fishing. Probably a combination of where I was fishing and not knowing what I was doing. Super, super frustrating. And then that also equated as I got older in tournament fishing about wanting to do. There's nothing more I wanted than to do good in tournaments, and not being able to do good in tournaments. It was super, super frustrating, super, super hard to do. To deal with. Probably the hardest thing I've ever dealt with in my entire fishing career. Now, to try to compensate that, I decided that I went through a series of a couple different years. This was like, well, I started out, I had some success my first year. I qualified for the Bassmaster Classic my rookie year. And then I had some, over the next 3 or 4 years, I had some up and down success. I actually won a Bassmaster tournament, but I was all over the place. It's like I'd have a good tournament, and then I'd have 2 or 3 really bad tournaments. And I wanted to be consistent and do good more than anything else. It would just kill me to have a bad tournament. So I made the commitment. I said, okay, I'm going to make a commitment next season. This was back like in the early 90s when I'm talking about. There is nobody that's going to work harder than me. I am going to fish constantly. So when we went to a tournament, this is what I would do. I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, every day of practice, every day of the tournament. I would drive to the lake, and I would get there at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if the sun didn't come up to 7 o'clock. I'd launch my boat before anyone else. I'd be the only one at the launch ramp in the dark. I'd put my boat in the water, and I'd just float out there and think about what I wanted to do. And as soon as that sunlight came up, I was fishing before anyone else. And in the evening, I was the last dude off the water. Everyone else was off the water. It was dark when I took my boat out. I did that for an entire year, and I fished as much as I could when I was home in between. You know what happened at the end of that year? I had the worst year of my entire career. It's like I was just out of my mind, frustrated, because it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what to do. It's like I'm working my ass off and not catching them. And I got looking at these guys that were catching fish, and I would like talk to them, and I'd go over and look in their boat, and their boat would be trashed out. And my boat was meticulous. It's like tackle was perfect, everything. And I'd see some of these guys over there that were just ripping them, and their boats would be filthy. They'd be junky looking. They'd have rods everywhere, baits laying all over the floor of the boat. And a lot of these guys wouldn't even get out and practice until an hour after daylight or more. They'd be out there at 8:30 or 9 o'clock putting their boat in the water, and they were ripping, and they were qualifying for classics and everything. So I go, this is not fair. It's like I am freaking out of my mind. It's like, what the heck? So I started thinking about it, and I started analyzing it, and it's like, The key to success out there, it's not working harder. It's like the key to success in bass fishing is you have got to use your instincts and your imagination and your creativity to locate fish that other people aren't doing. And you can't force anything. And you have to relax. And you have to be open-minded. And there's all these variables that come into play that I was overlooking because I just thought it was a matter of working harder than anyone else, and it's not. So in terms, and we all want to, it's frustrating when we don't catch fish. We all want to catch fish. So from what I have learned here, guys, and what I want to share with you, if you're struggling catching fish right now and you're not to where you need to be, you have got to relax, number one. You have got to just, when you go out in the water, you have got to enjoy being out there, regardless if you catch one or you don't. Now, that's hard to do because we want to catch them, but that's the main thing, is you've got to have this attitude that you really don't care one way or the other. The next thing you have to do is you have to experiment, and you have to use your imagination, even if something you've never heard of it working before. Try something that nobody else has tried. Try a color nobody else has tried. Try an approach somebody else hasn't tried. And that is how you really, find techniques out that nobody else is fishing. Another thing you can do with it is you have got to maximize the area that you're in, and you can't slop through an area. So when you get into an area that has a lot of potential to catch fish, you have got to really exhaust every opportunity within that area. Don't fish through a good area in 30 minutes and leave it, and then here in the afternoon when you come back in, you heard some guy, caught a big bag of fish from the area that you just left. Make sure that you exhaust all the possibilities, within that day's frame reference. And always try to assimilate and learn and put as much information into play as you can. And one of the things you can do this is, like, one of the best ways to learn is after the tournament, talk to the guys that did well. Because most people, if they've had a good tournament, they're in a good mood and they're happy and they're willing to share stuff. And if you have a suck tournament, don't get in your truck and get all mad and drive home. Try to talk to some of the guys that caught them and say, hey man, I'd be willing to take anything you're willing to offer up. I just had a tough tournament. I'm frustrated. I mean, is there anything you want to share with me, how you caught them, that I can learn from? And a lot of guys will open up to you and they'll share with you some stuff that worked for them. And you know what the common thread is when people do that? It's every single time somebody's done that to me, it's like, I cannot believe I didn't think about that. That is the simplest thing. It's never anything complicated. It's usually always something really simple that they did different, but you just didn't try what they were trying. So much of fishing is being at the right place at the right time with the right technique. So the main thing, guys, if you're struggling, you're having a hard time with fishing right now, you're not alone. It's not you. It happens to everybody out there. But just, keep experimenting, keep working, relax, have a good time, use your instincts and your imagination, and eventually your success is incrementally going to get better all the time by doing that. It's never going to go backwards. It's like, even the days that you go out and don't catch them, you are a better angler than you were a month before that if you caught a big string of fish. It's every day's a learning process. So anyway, I hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.